up, everyone? Welcome back to the Pokemon Hideout. Thanks so much for being here. I really do appreciate the support. So today I want to take a kind of a deeper dive into how to find out how much your Pokemon cards are worth. And today we're going to use eBay as well as a couple other tools to hopefully provide some helpful information if you are wondering how to find how much your Pokemon cards are worth. Now, before we jump into that, I do want to address the Pokemon bubble situation, because that is just, it seems like that's everywhere. And I know I just did a video on that, but just real quick, I wanted to give some hopefully helpful information on this. People have been saying that Pokemon cards have been in a bubble for a long time. And I just want to remind people that Pokemon cards are significantly higher than where they were a year ago, significantly higher than where they were 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And so, I mean, I'm not saying that prices can't go down, but I'm saying that Pokemon cards have been going up historically. And I mean, I think that when people say that Pokemon cards are in a bubble, they're kind of looking at like a small subset of the Pokemon card market as a whole. They might be looking at base set, which, by the way, shot up like crazy. I mean, base set Charizards in near mint condition were like $70 like a year ago or even less. So to say that the price went from like $1,500 down to $1,000, are we in a bubble? It's like, it's still up way more than 10 times what they were like even a year ago or less. I mean, same thing with base set hollows as a whole. Now, there are some parts of the market that haven't seen as much rise. But, I mean, on the whole, if you look at the market, I mean, trophy cards are selling for record prices. Sealed stuff has risen tremendously. So, I just want to remind people, I guess my whole point is make sure you're looking at the entire picture of the Pokemon card market. It's more than just base set. It's more than just Charizards. It's more than just modern stuff. It's more than just Hidden Fates, Vivid Voltage, the newest stuff. Like, the Pokemon card market as a whole is up significantly, and it's been going up significantly. I remember in 2012, right? So I collected Pokemon cards back in the 90s, 2000, and then forgot about them as you know, went to high school and so forth. But just briefly in 2012, I looked at prices because I was like, maybe I'll buy a box just for fun. A base set booster box was like $550, and I was like, that is crazy. Like, Pokemon's not even popular right now. Who the heck is gonna pay over $500 for a box of Pokemon cards? Well, that same box now is like $35,000. So, I mean, and that's, Pokemon wasn't popular in 2012. Even in 2016 with the Pokemon card boom, and people said, you know, as it started to maybe cool off a little bit in 2017, they said, oh, we're in a bubble. Here come, you know, it's the end of Pokemon cards. They're Beanie Babies. Well, here we are in 2020, and I wish I could buy cards at the 2016 hype prices. So, I mean, before people say, like, we're in a bubble, like, prices are way too high, I think it's important to remember the market as a whole as well as the history of prices. Because, yeah, certain cards, certain sets, they might retrace. But even if they retrace and come down in price, they're still way higher than they were a year ago. I mean, Fossil booster boxes used to be like $800 like less than 2 years ago. And then come, you know, late 2019, early 2020, they're selling for like $2,000. And everyone says, oh, they're in a bubble. Nothing goes up, nothing more than doubles in a year. Like, they're in a bubble. Watch these Fossil booster boxes. Watch these Team Rocket, these Jungle booster boxes that are selling for $2,000. The first edition box is selling for $4,000. They're coming down, man. Those things, they went up way too fast. And now what are the prices? The Fossil, Jungle, Team Rocket, Unlimited are like 10 grand, and the first edition ones are like 20,000. They might come back down. What if a first edition box comes back down to 15,000 and the Unlimiteds come back down to 7? Or even 6. That's still way high. That's still 3 times what they were in January. And that's still, you know, I don't know, almost 7.5, 8 times what they were 2 years ago. So, you know, I think a lot of people that think that Pokemon cards are in a bubble are kind of, you know, like I said, I think they might be looking at a small subset. And I'm not like hating on anybody. Like, it's easy to do. Sometimes I do that. And I'm not saying that prices aren't going to come down. I'm not saying that demand or that supply is going to catch up with demand. It's going to drive the prices down. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that before people say Pokemon cards are in a bubble, you know, these cards are going to zero, like, there's no way, like, this is, I think that people should look more at the historical data and look at the increased demand and know that people have been saying this for a long time. So I guess it was a little bit of a rant, and it's not, I'm not upset or anything. I'm just trying to like make people aware. I'm trying to be as honest as I can about the market. And I might be a little bit biased because I'm optimistic about Pokemon, but I also at the same time want people, because it's our natural inclination. You know, if the stock market goes up, we're like, oh, it's coming back down. Real estate market goes up, oh, it's coming back down. But keep in mind that Pokemon's a collectible, and it's different than traditional forms of investing in traditional markets. So there's some historical data. I could be wrong, you know. I don't know everything. I can't predict the future. But, you know, if you want to look at the past and you want to look at the market as a whole, I'm just saying, take all of the information. Now, with that out of the way, today we're going to take a deeper dive into how to find how much your cards are worth. And this is going to be a longer video than my previous videos, but I do think it is very valuable information. And if you do want to get an accurate look at what your cards are worth, you can definitely probably gain something from this video. So there it is. I'm going to switch over to the computer, and you'll see me next when I'm on eBay. So, all right, see you in a few. And we're back. All right, so let's look at our first example of how to find prices for the value of our cards. So we'll start with an easy example here. This is a Rayquaza GX promo card from Hidden Fates. It is in near mint condition. It was never played. It was straight from the promo box. So easiest way to find that is to just type in Rayquaza GX. I like to type in the little number from the card, so 177A. You can add Hidden Fates if you want, but it's not really necessary. So as you can see, we find a range of prices. You know, some is for jumbo, most are just for the regular, which is what we have. And a lot of these are at auction. Some are graded. So when people say check eBay solds, what they mean is literally type it in eBay, click on the sold listings, and we find some examples. So let's see. As you can see, there's some variability here though, and this is where it can start to get tricky. So let's look at some eBay sold listings, and let's make sure that the condition of these cards match the condition of our card. Let's see, yeah, this looks pretty good here. Front looks good, back looks good. Okay, so this is a legit price point for us here, $45. I like to get a few of them just to make sure. So this is the same listed condition, near mint right out of the pack. Okay, looks good on the front, back looks near mint. Okay, great. So it looks like our card is worth about $45 to $50. Let's get one more, just so we have 3 examples. Again, $45. Okay, back looks good. Front looks good. Okay, so I think at this point it's pretty safe to say our card is worth about $45 to $50. So that was a pretty easy example, And modern cards are pretty easy because you know, a lot of them are packed fresh. People know to keep them in good condition. They sleeve them right out of the pack. So let's look at one that's a little bit more complicated. So here I have a base set Alakazam. It is in good condition. I personally, I would say, like, there's a little whitening there at the bottom. A little bit on the side here. And then on the front, there's a print line. Let's see if I can find it here. It's difficult to see, but yeah. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but there it is. Okay. So, but overall, this card is in really good condition. I would say maybe like slightly played. If I had to give it like a PSA estimate, maybe a 7, maybe an 8 on a good day. So let's look at probably a 7. Alakazam base set holo. Alright, so this is where it gets tricky because especially with these old cards, prices are all over the place. And condition isn't quite as easy to spot like with the newer cards. So here's one that ended, and this one says light play to near mint, which is what I would say our card's condition is. Let's look at the pictures though. Okay, I would definitely say this card is worse than near mint and worse than light play right off the bat because of the hollow scratches. Back's not too bad. There's some whitening at the bottom. Definitely not near mint. I'd say the back in and of itself would take it to light play, and then the scratches on the front, I'd say that's a medium play at least, or moderate play. Okay, so let's find, so this one's sold for 45. Okay, so we know a card in worse condition than ours sold for 45. So let's try to find one that's okay, so this one sold for 76. Let's see. Okay, so this one looks good on the front. Nice picture of the holo. There's a little silvering, but overall good front. Okay, back looks pretty good. Some white marks here, here. I don't know what that is, but I would say this card is somewhat comparable condition to ours. So this one was 75. But here's where it gets tricky, because unlike the Rayquaza card, there's less of these that sell, and we don't have like a whole listing of prices that are about the same amount. So yeah, these are all over the place. So this one sold for 15. This one says light play. And when you're looking to buy these cards on eBay, always check the pictures for yourself, because you know, people can, yeah, this is not light play. This card's damaged, man. This card's beat up. So hence the $15 price point, or 20 bucks with shipping. So, okay, so that's not really accurate for our card's condition either. Okay, so here's another one for 75. Yeah, so always make sure you look at the pictures, because a lot of people like to put light play or near mint, but to be honest, the condition is significantly worse. This one looks pretty good. I'd say here's another one that from those pictures looks like it's comparable to our condition. So now we have about 2 examples of a $75 price point. Let's see if we can find one more. Okay, so here's one for, let's see, I don't know how much it sold for, but the asking price was 80. Okay, Alakazam. Not bad on the front. Nice. Okay. I think this one's even a little bit worse than ours. So here's another tip. If you find a card that has been best offered, which means somebody accepted an offer, so it didn't sell for 80, you can go to this website called 130point.com, go to their eBay sales, and then you can type in the card listing that you found that you want the price. Okay, so this one actually sold for $70. So this is a great tool right here. I use this all the time because sometimes people ask for $100 and they sell for 70. Sometimes people ask for 1,000 and they sell for 500. So you can't just use this best offer and say 80. Clearly it didn't sell for 80, it sold for 70. But that 70 is helpful because again, it's a card that is a little bit worse than our card, but in comparable condition that sold for right around that $70, $75 price point. Here's another card, $75. Yeah, this one's real nice. So I would say our card's worth about 75 bucks based on what we found. And this was a little bit more difficult than the Rayquaza one. It wasn't too difficult, but so if you're looking for, you know, the price of your card, make sure you find, you know, a few listings and make sure that the condition really matches up with yours based on the pictures, and you don't just go by someone's description of near mint or light play. Okay, so let's look at an example of a pretty difficult price point to find. So this is actually a very rare pack. This is a base set Charizard artwork pack, but what makes this pack rare is that it is actually a shadowless pack. And you might be wondering, how can you tell shadowless? Or you might be thinking, I know why it's shadowless. Well, if you don't know why it's shadowless, I'll give you some indicators. First of all, it says 11 tradable cards right here. So if we compare it to an unlimited pack, and this is just unlimited, it says 11 additional game cards. Secondly, as you can see, it has the trading card game plus the cards right there above the game. This one does not. And as you can see, this one has a trading card game at the top. This one does not. This one has long crimps. This one has short crimps. As you can see, the top of the wrapper is significantly longer than this one. So all those factors together puts this one in the shadowless category. Now, I don't want to get too far into the shadowless stuff, but there are examples of packs like this that have short crimps that are actually shadowless. And I actually have some of those packs, but if they have the long crimp right here, you know for certain that it's shadowless. So the other thing that makes this pack super rare is that it's a heavy pack. So if you don't know, when you open up a booster box, typically you get 24 packs that don't have hollows and 12 packs that do have hollows. The packs that have hollows are called heavy packs because they typically weigh a little bit more. And I bought this pack as heavy. I bought it from a legitimate seller who opened up a booster box, weighed out the 24 light packs, weighed out the 12 heavy packs, showed me the weights, showed me that these packs had shadowless cards in it, and so I know everything's legit. If you get into trying to buy shadowless stuff, be careful, because there's a lot of people that claim shadowless that aren't quite sure. And a lot of people will say it's got shadowless artwork, but that does not mean that it's for sure shadowless cards inside. So this is going to be tricky because there's a lot here. All right, so here's one that says not shadowless. You're going to get those. This is cool. It's a PSA 10 graded. But since it's graded, obviously no one's going to open that, so it doesn't really... Here's another one. Okay. There's a blister pack. Okay, so here's a pack that's very similar to ours. So as you can see, it's got the guaranteed long crimp. It's got the same artwork down here. Trading card games. I'll pull this up here. Trading card game. It's got the trading card symbols, 11 tradable cards. It's got the long crimps on top. So this is indeed a shadowless pack. This person was accurate. But here's the thing. It doesn't mention anything about this being heavy or unweighed. So the odds are this is a light pack. So this pack also was a best offer. So let's use that website I used before to find out the actual price of this. So we go back here, paste. And we can see that this actually sold for 2,000. Okay, so if we assume that a light pack sells for 2,000, we don't know how much the heavy pack sells for. And so here's where, again, it's difficult because there's a lot of packs that say shadowless, artwork shadowless. They don't have the long crimps. They don't have the guaranteed open from a box break. And if someone says guaranteed open from a box break, you might want to ask them for video of it or who the original seller was. You might want to dig a little bit deeper into that. This one, some people will say that a pack like this is long crimp. This is not long crimp. All right, this is long crimp up here. This is what they used for like in stores where they would hang these are like hanger packs basically. But just know that this does not mean you're gonna get shadowless cards. This is not what long crimp actually means, and some people will kind of be deceptive with their listing. So here's an example of a shadowless artwork, Charizard artwork. But I don't think these are going to be guaranteed shadowless cards. Not guaranteed shadowless. Okay. So this is very similar to our pack. It's got the 11 tradable cards, got the trading game, card game, plus the cards, but it's a short crimp pack. So this person is not guaranteeing it to be shadowless. Hence the difference in price too. Short crimp, shadowless. Okay. So this is difficult because we only have one shadowless long crimp pack like ours. Here's another one. Box Fresh. Venusaur. So while it's the same pack, the difference between a Charizard pack art and a Venusaur pack art can be very significant. People like the Charizard packs. All right, so this one again sold for $2,000. Let's see if it says anything about if it's been weighed or not. Guaranteed shadowless. Okay. Rare pack. Okay. So I would assume this is a light pack. Probably doesn't have a holo. So all we have so far are two long crimp shadowless packs that are light. We don't have any heavy examples, and we don't have a Charizard example. So there are other places you can look for information. PWCC, let's see, you can go to PokeBeach. If you go to their forums, you can look at if anyone has any information. Another website, and this is the one I'm using for this example, for this video, is E4. So if you look at E4, this one I found, someone opened a shadowless box break, and they were selling the packs for $16.50 a piece, unweighed. Now, granted, I think that's very underpriced, but it is a price point that you can use. So as you can see, they opened a pack here. However, these are short crimp packs. I'm trying to find. Okay, yeah. So as you can see, these are short crimp packs. These are not long crimp packs. So while they have shadowless cards inside, they are not long crimp packs. So again, it's and there's a difference. People will pay more for a long crimp pack than a short crimp pack. But just for the sake of this video, if they assume that this box was $75,000, which they are, first of all, they're underpricing their packs. But let's say 75,000 divided by 36 packs. Each pack should cost about $2,100, $2,833 well, that's how much the light packs were selling for. So if I had to guess a price for this pack right here, Typically the heavy packs sell for 2 to 2.5 times what the light packs sell for. Sometimes more, especially with like first edition base. So I would estimate this pack's worth, being it's a Charizard artwork, I would say this pack is worth at least $4,000 to $5,000. Honestly, I wouldn't sell it. If someone said, hey, I'll give you $5,000 for this pack, I wouldn't sell it. I actually think it could be worth more, but we don't have enough data, really. So that's an example of an item that's really difficult to find because there's not enough sales data, and since it's a rare product, there's just not enough out there. So let's look at one more example, and this is why it's so hard to find what things are worth. You know, if you have something that's relatively rare. Let's look at something like a Fossil Booster Box. Okay, this is clearly not legit. That's probably a scammer. No one's gonna sell a first edition Fossil Booster Box for $600. Yeah, here we go again. Okay, so $20,000. That was first edition. All right, 18.2. So first edition Fossil Booster Box are worth roughly $18,000 to $20,000. I just picked this randomly because it was an item that's pretty rare. I didn't know if there was going to be very much sales data for it. So, okay, here we go. 19.6. So another trick you can use, or not trick, but another way you can maybe find a price point is, let's say something sold like a week ago for $20,000, or let's say $10,000. Well, with the way prices are moving these days, prices are going crazy on a regular basis. So if you don't have any sales history, maybe there's one at auction that's being auctioned for. For example, here's a Fossil box. I'm following this because I want to see what this ends for. I want to see what the price of a Fossil box is. So with about a day left, it's at $8,700. So if, for example, if you're trying to sell your Fossil box, and the last Fossil box unlimited was like a month ago, and it sold for like, you know, $8,000, and you're like, well, there's no way it's worth $8,000 now. You can look at auctions that are ending and get maybe a little bit better of a viewpoint of the price, or you can follow it till its conclusion and see, you know, how much it's worth. So that's something else that can be helpful. All right, so the last example, I know this video is getting long, but I do think it is important if you do want to find out how much your cards are actually worth. So this is a starter deck, but what makes this starter deck unique is that it's shadowless. And compare this to a regular starter deck. Front's very similar, but the back, first of all, you can hear the damage counters. Can't hear them. Let's see. Next, you can see the artwork. As you can see, these have the energies. These do not. Pokemon's in the middle. Pokemon's off to the left. So, plus I bought this from a very reputable guy who assured me it was shadowless. So, I'm 100% sure that this is shadowless. So if you look at Pokemon 2-player starter deck. Alright, let's look up for shadowless again. These difficult price points to find. Okay. So let's go to sold listings. Here's one, guaranteed shadowless, 2-player starter deck. Guaranteed shadowless, all energies on the back, deck on the top, counters. Okay. Yeah, this is shadowless based on what he's saying. He's right, these are very rare. Okay, so let's look. So it sold for $2,500 with best offer. Let's go to our sales data. And we can see that this sold for a little over $2,000. Okay, so it's a good price point. Personally, I think that sale was a little bit low. And then of course we got back in September. And these are opened with a graded. Yeah, those prices mean nothing. All right, so okay, so we have a $2,000 sales data for this 2050. Again, I think that's a little low because of the contents on the inside. So you get a sealed Machamp card. So if we were to look up a first edition Machamp Shadowless card. All right, so first of all, if we were to look at this sealed. Okay, here's one that sold for $585. Okay, this one sold for $650. All right, so every Shadowless starter that comes with one of these, and these comes with a Machamp card. So if you, let's just say $600, right? And then you also get Shadowless Charmanders. Let's just say PSA 9. These are essentially pack fresh cards. So here's one that sold for $275. You get 4 of them in there, and then you also get, and not to mention that these cards could come back PSA 10, which are worth significantly more. All right, so here's one that sold for $167. I think that might have been a little low. Yeah, here's one that sold for $300. Prices are just all over the place right now. $350. This is the most recent one we have, so maybe they are $170. Anyways, you get 2 of them in this as well. Not to mention there could be a PSA 10. And granted, here's one $400. All right, so granted, this is a lot more work, but here's another way you can price out your items. If you have something like this, first of all, if you get this Machamp and it comes back a PSA 10, it's worth over $5,000. So there's always that chance. Granted, it's low, but even the PSA 9s, I believe, are selling for around $1,000 if you get it graded. Okay. All right, so this one sold for $643. This one sold for $810. This one sold for some kind of best offer. So let's say $800 to $1,000. I think this one was kind of low for what it sold for, or maybe the price is dropping. Either way, the last kind of solid sales data I have is around $800 to $1,000. So if you factor in let's see. So if you get a PSA 9 Machamp, and let's just say for simplicity it's $1,000, and let's just say you get 4 Charmanders and they're $250 a piece, so that's $2,000, and then you get 2 Charmeleons that are PSA 9, and I'm assuming all these come back PSA 9. Then you're looking at like $2,500, and then you have another deck of Shadowless cards that are near mint, including, Machokes, Stratinis. So I think conservatively, if you grade them all, you're looking at $3,000 worth of value. And granted, there's grading fees involved, there's time involved, but that's if you factor in that your cards could be PSA 10 as well. I think that the value for the sealed deck is more than $2,000 just from the contents on the inside. Plus, the fact that the sealed deck is very rare. Obviously the market says what it says. If it says it's 2,000, it's 2,000. But that's an example of, I think that's a bit of a price discrepancy. So, anyways, that's these are just this is how I try to find price points. You know, it can be difficult searching on eBay just because prices are all over the place. So hopefully this was helpful in maybe you know, doing a little bit more digging into this and trying to find as accurate as prices as you can. So let me know what you think, if this was helpful or not. Hopefully you got something from this, and hopefully you're able better to price your cards. I know it can be kind of tedious work, but it's kind of necessary if you want the most accurate pricing. And then obviously with the crazy market, prices are changing on a daily and weekly basis. So anyways, let me know what you think. If there's anything else you would like to see, feel free to let me know. Leave a comment, reach out to me, like the video if you liked it. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.